I call it out.
So how you do this? What do you think about this whole controversy with Cheyenne Bryant?
Why do people ignore obvious red flags?
Even from a psychological perspective.
Look, this one got me stuck.
Hey, what's up? This is the Millz Spill. We are here with Tiasia Saunders. She is a public health professional and the author of Receipts Over Opinions. She's going to give us some insight to public health. Make sure to like and subscribe. Welcome, Tiasia.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here and really just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on your podcast. I really like what you're doing. And so I'm excited for this conversation.
Awesome. So a lot of people don't know what public health is as far as like what kind of work is it? How is it needed in society?
Honestly, people who work in public health, we get this all the time because a lot of people don't know. Unless you work in the field, you really don't understand what goes on. But public health is, we like to call it's like population health. We focus on educating and preventing diseases when it comes to society as a whole. So when you go to the hospital and you go to the doctor, it's a one-on-one encounter, usually meeting with the nurse, meeting with the doctor, but they're only able to treat one person at a time. Public health, we focus on things that can help treat the entire community, entire population, more than one person at a time. And so things like wearing a mask is a part of like public health initiatives. Things like eating healthy vegetables and like education about like how to create healthy lifestyles that goes towards helping the public understand that being healthy is important. Things like safe sex education is another method that they use. And so we just focus on things that help the community as a whole.
Okay, educating the public about different things and how we can prevent different diseases like COVID. I can imagine during COVID, a lot of people in public health were really busy getting that information out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Public health during COVID was crazy. And I actually worked at the health department during COVID. And so we did things like giving out masks so people could make sure they wear their mask and making sure people had gloves so they're not like touching things and making sure people knew that they need to wash their hands after everything. And so things like that really go a long way to help protect everyone. And really that's what it's about. The more that we can protect ourselves and help protect other people, the better we're all going to be as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're a public health professional. You founded Healthy Living Culture. Mm-hmm. What exactly is that?
Great question. Mm-hmm. And so Healthy Living Culture was founded when I was working as a contractor. So I started off working as a contractor, or we also call it a consultant. So I work for different companies, mostly nutrition companies, because my background is public health, but my emphasis area, what I went to school for, was public health nutrition. And I worked for these companies and I did things like help with their communications, like social media and newsletters and things that went out to their audience. And so I would help draft those communications and get those sent out. And so I started off as a contractor / consultant, and then I wanted to develop it, Healthy Living Culture, into something like a community. And so I've seen that people really, when it comes to health and when it comes to like knowing certain stuff, it's not as common as some people would think it is in terms of like, okay, walking or going to the gym or just exercising for 30 minutes a day goes a long way. You know, a little goes a long way. Maybe making sure that you have a variety of fruits and vegetables goes a long way. And so things like that, I like to educate through Healthy Living Culture. And also I like to work with other people that are in the health space or people who are wanting to live a healthier lifestyle. I work with them through my company, Healthy Living Culture. I have my own company, but I also work in corporate healthcare. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the people that I meet in different spaces are because I have the opportunity. I travel across the country for what I do and go to different healthcare systems. Sometimes I go to different like networking events and things like that. And so I get to meet a lot of different people.
And you also, you have your social media for people. Obviously, they follow you as well. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of information out there on your social media.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Through my social media, I do have like videos when it comes to like cooking and like workout videos and just like information that can really help people. And so I like doing that. That's part of what I think makes healthy living culture, right? Like the more that we can share, the more that we can educate, the more that we can just spread. I like to say light and love because I feel like the more healthy you are, the better your overall life is.
Mhm.
And that's just not to go for physical health. I'm talking about like mentally. I'm talking about like emotionally. I'm talking about spiritually.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I like to call myself a public health professional, but I focus more on like wellness, which is an entire health approach. So not just focusing on the physical. I like to make sure that I'm good mentally. Other people are good mentally. I'm that person that checks in on like family and friends, like, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help with? You know, because it's important. And I think people really just focus on like one aspect when it comes to health, but really you need to have some type of, I don't like to say balance because it's hard. I feel like I'm that person that thinks it's never going to be a balance.
Mhm.
I don't agree with that. You have to find some type of rhythm. You ever heard the phrase work-life balance?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I use the phrase work-life rhythm.
Okay. I like that. Work-life rhythm.
Yes. Because you have to like have some type of rhythm because it's never going to be a balance. But as long as you can like figure out what works for you
Yeah.
and really like lean into that and, you know, do what you can to make that work, I think that's the best approach.
So take me back before you got into being a public health professional, you know, before all this, what took you toward this journey where you are now?
Great question. And I would say probably my childhood.
Mhm.
Like growing up, you know how we all do, like you have your annual like health appointments, you go to the doctor, you're speaking with the nurse, and it's just a routine thing that everyone should do, right? Go to the doctor. I think I found myself at a point where when I was going to the doctor and just listening to what the doctors and nurses have to say, I wasn't really understanding a lot of it. And so I found myself wanting to know. Like I'm that type of person where I'm in the room and there's a conversation that I'm not really understanding. I need to find out what it is and how I can understand. And so for me, I just got really into learning like health terms and wanting to understand like what exactly certain thing means when you go to the doctor. Like what is a vaccine? You
Mhm.
know, like what is a condom? What is a, you know, what are these things? And how can I learn about those to make myself better? I like to understand the why.
Yeah.
And so if I don't understand, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And so I have to figure it out.
Okay, well, that actually makes sense because receipts over opinions. Tell us what that means. It actually connects with what you said.
Yes.
I know, but for our audience, what does that mean?
Absolutely. And so I love that because receipts over opinions, it's how I live my life, actually. And I feel like it's how most people should live their life. Like when it comes to looking for the evidence and stuff, trying to understand the why, there's always a pattern. There's always receipts. And we collect them. Most people don't stop to really think about what they are, or I like to call it like do an audit of your life, or even like what you've done, so that you can really see what the patterns are. And so if we focus on the patterns, we focus on the evidence, we focus on the facts, which are the receipts, that's the proof, then I feel like a lot of people can do things that they want to do and not really worry about outside opinions, not really worry about what other people think or, you know, what they say or how to live your life or look for validation. I feel like a lot of people look for validation. Like if somebody's not telling me I'm doing great, then how do I know if I'm doing great?
Mhm.
Well, you know, you have receipts.
Yeah.
And so that is what receipts over opinions is about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like when we have receipts, we're doing things that are meaningful versus things that are not meaningful. Like somebody's just giving you an opinion about something. You're weighing your value and feeling validated based on these opinions, but they're not meaningful. They have no impact in physical reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've seen that time and time again. I mean, even me, like I wrote this book and it really it's a blueprint. And so I wanted to share with other people because I really think it makes a difference when it comes to validation and listening to other people. It's like second nature. You kind of do it without really thinking about it, you know, because you just hear it all the time. And so you're like, okay, well, maybe they are right, or maybe they do know what they're talking about, or maybe they have a point. But if you never take the time to really ask yourself, okay, let me stop and think. Okay, they said this, but this is actually what I did. And they don't know about this because people only know like a little bit of your story. They only know like what you give to them, what you share to them. They don't really know everything in totality. And so once you take the time to really think about what that is that you have done and versus what other people are saying, you can focus on the receipts and ignore the opinions. And I'm sure you can relate to this being a therapist. Like you have to have receipts to do the type of career that you do. You've had to go to school for it. You have to practice. You probably have to do like certain clinical hours. All of that are your receipts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what my book is about. My book is focused really on the career aspect of it, because a lot of people, when they go through life and you go through your career and stuff, you can really start to get, I don't know what the word is, like soaked up in like other people's opinions and what other people think about you when it comes to your life and how you should live it.
Mm-hmm.
But that really is a personal thing, and you really have to take the time to think about what have you done, and also know not what have you done, but what you want to do and how you want to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my book, I give frameworks, I give strategies, I give tools about like how to really get to where you want to be and evaluate the evidence of your life and other people's opinions so that you can reach that point.
Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people, I think, are just like on a cruise control in life where we don't really even know who we are as a person because we're just going off of so many opinions all the time. I talked about this with Janice McCullough. She was talking about how sometimes we're basing our value off of opinions, and it comes back from like, even when you were a child, you wanted to hear the adult or certain people in your life telling you, giving you this positive feedback about certain things. You might not have even liked whatever that was, but you did it because of the opinions of others. You didn't find this intrinsic voice that would help you, that would guide you along to look for those receipts versus the opinions.
Absolutely. And that's hard to do. I'm actually happy that you talked about that. It's really hard to do that. You have to do the work. Like for me, like I had to really focus on doing the work to really try to tune out those opinions and tune out other people's value of me and really focus on my own. And I'm still doing the work. I feel like you have to really be in tune with yourself. And like I said, do an audit of your life. And really, I feel like people should focus on what they want to do. And if you don't know, try to figure it out, because your values really impacts your entire life. Your values impacts how you move, what you do, the decisions you make, the people you let in your environment, the people you let in your life. Like that has a lot to do with your values. And if you figure that out, I think it's a game changer.
Many of our listeners are working a 9-to-5. They want to do something on the side. They're ambitious about it, but they're finding a hard time actually getting that going. What were some of the keys to your success to be able to do that?
Great question. And I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you got that. What's it? The rhythm? What do you call it?
The work-life rhythm.
Work-life rhythm. There we go.
I'm still figuring it out. But I think when you really want it, you just keep going. I think for me, I decide what I want to do and I go after it. And I really take the time to figure out like a strategy. Because I know a lot of things, it's easier said than done, right? Like, okay, I want to start a business. Okay, how do I get started? Okay, I want to write a book. How do I get started? Okay, I want to build a community. How do I get started? You know, these things are like, okay, I want to do them, but how do I actually put that want into action? And so for me, I take small steps. I really take time to research. And for me, as a public health professional, that's at the core of what we do. A lot of us do research. And I did a lot of research when I was on my master's program. And so I kind of got good at doing the research. I had to create, write, do an entire thesis. And I talk about that in my book too. And that actually gave me the confidence to really go after certain things because, okay, I got that done. That took me a long time to do. I had a professor who didn't think I could do it, but proved her wrong. And so for me, I think once you go after stuff and you put your all into it, even if you stop for a little bit, like keep going. Yeah. I like to tell people, keep going. I don't care if you take, months off, get back into it. Yeah. Keep going. Finish what you start. I think that is the key. Once you start something and you set your mind to you want to do that, follow through. You got to follow through.
Yeah. So you started with researching what you're actually trying to do and then getting it going and staying consistent. Consistency is hard sometimes because as you're being consistent, you're not seeing, we're in a microwave society where things are supposed to come like this all the time. Mm-hmm. And then when you're being consistent about something that you want, it doesn't always come like this.
Right.
You know, and that's where do you get I saw something you wrote. You said, don't depend on motivation, depend on structure. Let me, if I can find that, or do you know that quote off the top of your head?
It probably was, don't depend on motivation, depend on discipline, and find structures to make your discipline work for you. Because the thing with motivation, you're not going to feel motivated every day. You're not even going to feel motivated most days, in my opinion. But what keeps you going is the discipline. Like even like waking up in the morning. Like sometimes I don't be wanting to get out of bed, but I'm like, okay, if I sit in this bed, I'm not going to be productive. I'm not going to get things done. I'm definitely not going to be where I want to be. And so for me, it's like a mindset kind of shift thing where you're like, okay, but I know if I do get up, like I'm going to get what I need to get done today. And then tomorrow it's going to be better because I got this done. And then I can work on the next thing. And so it's just like a shift from, okay, I don't feel like it, but I need to do it because in the future, it's going to make a difference. I think a lot of people focus on the now, like how they feel, rather than focus on, okay, what is the outcome and where am I trying to go? And so that is the thing. And when you kind of figure out that, for me, make that structure of like focusing on discipline and letting that discipline work so that you can have the outcomes that you want, it plays out. And when you see it play out in your life, you kind of follow that same structure. And for me, I've seen it play out time and time again, like going through my bachelor's program. There was times where I didn't want to go to class, getting my master's, working on my thesis. These things I didn't necessarily want to do or was motivated to do, but I followed through because I'm like, okay, now I can see reaping those benefits from what I did and why it worked out that way, because I stayed consistent even on the worst days that I didn't feel like it. Even if I gave like 2% one day, the next day, okay, I'll give a little more, 50%. You don't have to give 100% every single day. You just got to do something.
Yeah. Even from a psychological perspective, the more we're rewarded with things, the more motivated we are to actually continue doing those things. So you're not going to necessarily feel that motivation all the time, but it's a little bit easier to be motivated when you know that this formula works.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't play out that way because I'll be honest, like, I mean, you're not going to always reap the benefits. Sometimes there's going to be failure when it comes to certain stuff, right? But it's like, in that, you can learn a lesson. We always say, one of the things we say a lot and where I work in corporate healthcare is lessons learned. Like, what was the lesson that we learned from this? And how can we do better and apply it in the future so that we can actually get the outcome that we want, you know? Because you learn from everything in life. It just depends on what you do with it. I love the question you asked about just working a 9 to 5. I feel like a lot of people think that when it comes to like, okay, something that you do in terms of your full-time job, you have to like quit it to do other stuff. And to me, it's like, why? You know, I'm not the person that feels like, okay, just because I'm doing this or working here, that I can't do this. It's like limiting yourself, you know? I feel like you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to have the drive and create a system so that you can do it. For me, okay, I work in corporate healthcare and I travel a lot for work. Sometimes there's like really busy weeks, and a lot of times there's like days where I work from like 7 to 7. And sometimes I don't have time to give myself to my own business. And so what I do is I make a list of things I need to get done. I usually like to use the Notes app in my phone. And I talk about this in my book too. One of the tools I use a lot is the Notes app in your phone, right? Because I feel like for me, I forget things. And so I have to really create a way for me to remember things that I need to get done. And that's one way that I do it. But whenever I don't have time because I'm focused on like my full-time 9 to 5 job, the next week I like lock in and like make sure I get a lot of stuff done that week. Or even the next day. Or even sometimes I'll work maybe from like 9 to 5. After 5 hits, I'll work on my business. You know, you got to find like things that work for you, which is, again, the work-life rhythm. That's important.
What I'm hearing you say is that sometimes we get stuck in this one lane and we feel like that's the only lane we can go in. And a lot of times, I think one of the challenges with that too is you got people in your circle who are also telling you that's the only lane that you can live in. But it's up to you whether you're going to believe those opinions or you're going to follow the receipts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I love you brought this topic up because this is important. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this because you're always going to have people trying to tell you who you are or what you should do. I've seen it time and time in my own life and in other people's life. That's why I feel like the one thing that you have to do to mitigate that is to develop a strong opinion of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the powerful way that you can kind of tune that out because I know who I am. And I have a strong opinion of myself. Once I hear things from other people, and especially if nobody else has said that. Now, come on, like if you're hearing it from the same person or if you're hearing the same thing from different people, I mean, that's a different story, right? But if you're hearing something once from one person, it's like, okay, one, you don't know me. And two, I'm just going to laugh at this because it's like you don't know me. And I know who I am. But thank you for your opinion next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
and then sometimes it's somebody that you know, but what's crazy is that even people that you know sometimes could be the biggest haters and people that are trying to prevent you from doing things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just be like, I don't know why is that, you know, I really don't understand it. But again, even if they know you, sometimes I feel like, okay, we have people that know us, right? Because I have siblings, I have people that I'm really close with, family members and stuff. They may know me in a certain light, but people are not like with you 24/7. Like you don't go to work with me. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know really what I do for my career. And so, you know, do you really know me? Maybe you know a part of me, but you don't know the full me. And so, and that's what I mean. Like once you know, if you know yourself fully, you take the time to really be in tune with who you are. I mean, you can kind of recognize it. I know for me, when people say stuff, I recognize it instantly. And one of the things I do is kind of call it out. Yeah. I think I call it out.
So how you do this?
Yes, good point. And so I didn't always do this. I think you have to get to a space where you can call stuff out. And I think more people should do it. I'm very passionate and I advocate for this a lot. Like speak up and call it out. And so I had to work up towards doing this. I'm not going to say it was something that's easy. But now it's kind of, I have to. It makes my skin boil if I don't. But the way that I did it was start off small, right? Start off like, because a lot of people they don't like conflict. And so when you call stuff out, it's kind of putting yourself in that position where you are having conflict. And it may not be like yelling conflict. It's just a conversation, right? But it's uncomfortable. Yeah. And for a lot of people. And so the way that you kind of get over that is to do it anyway. Yeah. You know, like start small, maybe do it with your sister, you know, and then maybe do it with your mom, do it with your significant other, do it with a coworker. And for me, that's how I did it. I just started doing it with people. And now.
Like calling it out when they're hating on you?
Yeah, call it out when they're hating on you.
Like,
call it.
Like, how do you call them out? Like, give me an example of how you've done that.
Yeah, okay. And so, okay. So if somebody, I don't know. Okay, so I'll just share a story. Maybe this is good. I went on a trip. It was like a vacation trip out of the country, and I was in. And so we were talking, and she was saying things that was like projecting onto me.
These are her feelings about herself.
Yeah,
she's projecting.
Yeah, projecting onto me. Yes, and so and I was like, I don't know. I kind of like I was listening to her because you know when you're having a conversation with somebody, you want to take the time to listen to them, especially if you're a good person and you practice active listening. Okay, so they teach you to not to think while somebody's not think about what you're gonna say while somebody's talking because that's kind of like rude and you're not really active listening. But she was talking and I was just like listening. And when I heard certain like trigger words, I was like, okay, I don't know, like, are you talking about me or you?
Yeah.
And then I just was like, okay. When she was done talking, I was like, you know, I think you're projecting right now.
Okay.
And because I love you, we can have this conversation, but I want to let you know, like, what you're talking about has nothing to do with me.
They ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, you are projecting 100%. And so, you know, things like that. Because it doesn't have to be a nasty conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part.
Just calling it out for what it is in a straightforward way, not necessarily aggressive, but you're just letting them know.
Yeah, just let them know. Like, hey, I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that. I mean, this is either you're a passive communicator or you're going to be assertive. Sometimes you got to speak up, when people are sick, because whatever you tolerate is how people are going to treat you.
Yes. You teach people how to treat you. I say that all the time. You teach people how to treat you. And the way that you teach them is sometimes you do have to have those conversations and call them out. I am very direct, I will say. Not a lot of people are like that. And I recognize that about myself. So sometimes I try to soften it up when it comes to talking to people because I am direct. I think it works for me in life.
Yeah.
But I listen to people when they give me feedback, and like people have, not a lot of people, but some people have told me, okay, like the way that you communicate, it comes off very direct, and a lot of people are not able to receive that sometimes. And so for me, because I recognize that and I do the work on myself to be better, I kind of, I soften how I speak to people sometimes, because for me, calling it out and stuff, it comes off as very direct. And so I recognize that and I tone it down a little bit with the directness.
Okay.
But I like being direct.
Yeah. Hey,
so
that's
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because I really enjoy being a direct person.
I look at it this way too. I'm a fighter too. I do MMA, kind of something I grew up with. My dad was my first trainer and everything. But I do it just on the side. But I look at it as if you let somebody continue to back you up into a corner, and then you know how people just all of a sudden they explode out of nowhere. Now you look really bad. But what if you just right away they hit you and you just go right back? You know what I mean? Like you gotta, not that I'm not talking about physical hitting, but as soon as they do say something to you, go ahead and correct it right then versus letting them back you all the way into a corner. And now you gotta explode and you looking like the aggressive person.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I think you should do it right off the bat. Yeah. I don't think you should wait. Like correct it and do it every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Because this even plays out, I mean, not even just like, like platonic or like family relationships, but like coworkers. Like you have people at work that be trying to try you sometimes. And it's like, okay, like you thought I wasn't going to speak up, didn't you? No, this ain't that.
Yeah. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna let you know. I can't take it because I'm like, especially if you go home and then you're thinking about that throughout the day. And I'm the type of person, if I didn't do it, I'll actually think about that years later. Dang, why didn't I say something when this person did that? So because I want to avoid all of that, I'm just like you with that. I gotta go address it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it, like you said, because we can address it in a way that comes off like the other person receives it. Like we don't have to be nasty or anything. We can have like good tonality. I know I try to work on my tonality a lot because it really, when it comes to, I feel like you can say anything as long as you say it the right way.
Yes.
And so
at the right time too.
Yeah, and at the right time because, that makes the difference. But once you learn that and you work on it and you kind of like try to master. I know for me, I try to master it. Like I'm like, oh, I need to get better at speaking and, I need to get better at timing, speaking, my tone, what I'm saying, who I'm saying it to, my audience. Know your audience. That's important. And so that's a big thing.
You talk about fitness and, being healthy. How do you, with such a busy lifestyle, I mean, you have your own brand, you also work in the corporate side of public health. How do you balance having that fitness side? Like I see you in the gym on your social media and stuff. How do you get all that crammed into your life?
I would say it's definitely hard to kind of find that rhythm. And at times I don't have the balance because sometimes when I'm traveling for work, I don't go to the gym for like the full week just because when I get off work, I'd be so tired. But the next week I get back into it. And so for me, what I do is I try to stick to a schedule for the most part. And so like if I have to wake up super early, maybe I'll go to the gym for 30 minutes like after I get off work. Whenever I'm working from home, because I do get to work from home, which is great. I have a lot of more flexibility when I am working from home. So whenever I know that I'm working from home, I'll schedule time to go to the gym. Like, okay, I'm going to the gym every day. Or I'll do a home workout, like put on YouTube. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where you can do home workouts. And so I kind of just try to be intentional with it, with my timing, with my schedule, And even if I fall off, so maybe I don't go to the gym for like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll try to get back into it just because I know the benefits of doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like you said, being consistent earlier, like even if you fall off a little bit, like get back into it. You know what I'm saying? Like just follow through, you know? Because we all have moments of when we like lapse or when we just, okay, I'm not feeling it right now. But I always have it in my back of my head that I'm going to get back into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Because you've seen seeing the reward of that consistency. And now maybe you fell off for a little bit, but you're like, okay, I got to get back to that.
Yeah.
You know?
We're all human. And so once you realize that a lot of us are just trying to live and trying to be healthy, and sometimes we fall short. And so once you realize that, we're all looking towards the same thing, living the best life that we can. And so I feel like some people, when they feel like they stop or something, then it's like a failure. But it's like, no, how about you try again? You know? And so I kind of live my life based on that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that helps. Building my receipts, especially like in the gym, I feel like that's a form of discipline.
Yes.
I always try to focus on, like, how can I be better and maintain my discipline? And the way that you do that is to keep going.
Because it's connected. It's all connected. Discipline in any form. If you can be disciplined over here, you know, especially our fitness, and it's so important, and our health is so important. And if we can be disciplined on that, we can stretch that out into discipline in other areas, in career and so forth.
Exactly. Yeah, because it is all connected. And it does, like the way that your lifestyle, it impacts everything that you do. And so once you realize that, you kind of try to like maintain some type of discipline in areas, and so that it can like trickle off into other areas. And most of the times it do whenever you stick to it.
What role has travel played in your wellness journey? Are there any special experiences that you have that kind of played into your own wellness journey?
Yes, great question. I love traveling, but it can be exhausting sometimes. And I think for me, because you have to like the packing, unpacking, walking through the airport, sometimes running through the airport to catch a flight, it'd be crazy a lot of times. And so for me, one, I feel like I have to be like fit enough to get to running through the airport. I remember one time I was going to London, me and my best friend, and our flight was taking off. We had just got to the airport. And so we had to run through like the international airport. She was gone because she in the military. But I was behind. I'm like, girl, tell him to wait on me because I don't run. Now, I'll be in the gym working out and stuff, but I'm not a runner. So I don't do that running. So running through the airport, that was a lot for me.
She was out there soldiering with it.
Yeah, she was getting it. I'm like, okay, just go. One of us got to get
like
up there.
That. You ever seen the movie when the dude, he goes into the sunken place? Get Out.
Get Out. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Remember
I definitely
movie
saw
Get Out when they were running like...
Yeah. Now I got that in my head. But exactly.
Behind, like, yo.
Yeah, exactly. So even you see it play out in like environments like that, right?
Yeah.
And so.
Is there anything, like any place that you've went where there was something like you had an epiphany in a certain place, or maybe seeing how certain people live that opened up your understanding and insight?
Ooh, yes. I would say for the most part, when I travel internationally, that really opens up my mindset a lot to how like other people live compared to like how we have it here in the US. And so I remember during my master's program, I went to Guatemala for like 2.5 months. I was doing like a work study program. And so that's a third world country. And the infrastructure, like the water and everything is just not great. And so that really gave me a more appreciation for like the way that we live over here in the US, you know, compared to certain places that don't have as much. And so for me, that gave me, it didn't give me, but it really reinforced the mindset of gratitude, being grateful for every single day. And I feel like that plays a lot into my character and who I am, because I wake up with a mindset of gratitude and just a joyful mindset. I feel like I am able to get a lot of the things that I want to get done. And then even on my hard days, because we all have them when it comes to like, maybe I'm depressed one day or something like that, I think about those circumstances. I think about those experiences, and it really just helps me to shift.
I mean, you can have a mindset of being ungrateful and just being miserable. And that doesn't really spill over into being successful. When we're happier, we feel better. And when you feel better about yourself and feel better about life, you do better. I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
And this is called Receipts or Opinions. All
Okay.
Right? Over opinions. There we go. Receipts over opinions.
Yes, receipts over opinions.
All right. Just like the book, Receipts over Opinions. All right. So in this game, I'm going to throw out some situations, and we're going to say, is it a receipt? Meaning, like, is this something that's meaningful, something that we need to go by? Or is it an opinion, something that's not really that meaningful?
Okay.
All right. Morning workouts are non-negotiable if you want a real result.
I would say an opinion, because morning workouts, like, I'm not always a morning person. Like, I feel like an afternoon workout or evening workout is just as impactful, and you can get just as many results from those.
Do you think, how about workouts in general? Are they important?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A receipt.
That's a receipt.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a receipt. Yes, absolutely. Workout. I mean, even if you don't go to a gym, right? Like, you can work out in your own home. I feel like you have to really get that workout in. You have to maintain your physicality. You have to continue to move. Because, I mean, there's research and studies and people and experiences and all of this type of stuff that indicates that working out really helps you to live life. Like, longevity really helps with being healthy. And so it's important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's on the physical fitness side. It's another type of physical fitness side. Me and my baby daddy ain't together no more, but we gonna go fool around here and there.
Oof, that's definitely an opinion. Look, this one got me stuck. I don't know nothing about being,
No, I'm not saying that you don't got to know about it. But you have, all right, so you have women who say, okay, I'm over it. Let me put it this way. I'm over my baby daddy.
Okay.
But we still messing around.
Well, you're not over it if y'all still messing around. Okay. I feel like being over it, and that's the receipt, right? Like, I feel like people tell themselves that they're over something. Yeah. But whenever in reality, what's the proof saying, right? If you're still messing with him, then you're not over it. Yeah. You have the receipt there. A lot of people, I feel like they don't really take the time to be truthful with themselves, You have to that's why focusing on the facts and the receipts really does help. Because in that statement, it's like, no, you're not over it. You're still doing it. If you was over it, you'll move on with your life and find somebody else. I mean, that's just the truth of it. Yeah. So
the receipts are saying, nah, you ain't over it.
No. Yes. Yeah. That's what the receipt's saying. 100%. Yeah. Not over it.
Men need to go ahead and pay all the bills and do everything as far as financially when it comes to a relationship. Is that a receipt or opinion?
Ooh, this is a good one. And this is like, I feel like we see this all over social media about like how people feel about like the man's perspective being a provider and everything. I do agree with a male should be a provider, when it comes to like dates and things. Because I feel like men, like, you guys like to know that it's reciprocated. And so I'm not going to say maybe 100% of everything should be paid for. But I would say most of it. One, because that's how you really know that if somebody likes you, if they're into you, that's what the receipts say. Like, if you're not spending money and you're not really taking the time to do things like this, then the receipts say that you don't really like me, or you don't really care about this, or you're not really invested enough to do those things. And so, yes, true. The receipts say that is correct. Yeah. However, I do know that sometimes people like that effort reciprocated. And so I'm not saying all the time.
So let me say this, and on the flip side of that, women should cook and clean and take care of the home.
See, I think both partners should invest in maintaining a home lifestyle.
So so let me ask you this. Are you saying that both the men should take care of all the bills and take care of the cooking, cleaning, everything?
I say he should know how to.
Okay.
But I think it depends on the relationship. As for me in my household, like my man needs to provide.
Yeah.
I do cook and clean, but he cooks and cleans sometimes too. Mm-hmm. And if it's a birthday or something, then I may get the bill one time. But for the most part, then he needs to get it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
If not most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely like a personal preference type of thing. But ladies, if he's not paying for nothing, the receipts say he don't like you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What would you say about the fellas though? If she's not doing no type of taking care of nothing?
Oh,
is that what's the receipt?
Yeah, the receipt say get you another woman.
Okay.
Because you got to do something.
Yeah.
You can't just be, that's crazy. Life is hard enough. Like nobody just wants somebody that's not doing anything, not putting in the effort, not contributing. Like we have to contribute something. There are things that are a contribution and some people weigh it differently. And so it just depends on what you and your partnership. And I think it should be a collaboration. It definitely should be a conversation. And you figure out what works best for you. But the receipts say contribute.
Yes.
Some type of way.
We got to have something to show that you actually care about it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You need to be in the right mindset before you can make healthy choices. Is that a receipt or opinion?
You need to be in the right mindset before you can make healthy choices.
Or have healthy habits. There we go.
That's a good one. I would say that is a receipt. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to have some idea of like what a healthy habit looks like for you, especially if you are trying to make those healthier decisions or outcomes. Because it's kind of like, if not, then how do you identify and know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, and you can like kind of get in a cycle of not making the healthier outcomes, the healthier decisions, especially if you've been making maybe the toxic ones or the not so healthy ones, because that's all you know.
Yeah.
And so I personally think that's a receipt. Like you have to really identify what that is and what healthy looks like, because if not, you're not going to be able to make the best outcome for yourself.
We talked about traveling just a bit ago and having that open your eyes to different realities. I feel like even with whether it be healthy relationships, whatever it is, we need to put ourselves outside of our environment sometimes to see how other people, not that we're trying to be someone else's relationship, but like if you've been and seen your parents had a violent relationship, you're in a atmosphere where everyone's in this chaotic, relationship. Sometimes your idea of the right one is just something that's so messed up, and you need to get outside of maybe the people that you're hanging out with. I don't know. Do you think that's a receipt or an opinion?
Oh, absolutely a receipt. Yeah. And that's a great point. And you really said that really well, because it's like if you only was exposed to this, and this is all you know, this is all you've seen, and you haven't been anywhere else, you haven't been exposed or experienced anything else, then you're going to focus on that. And that's all you know. And you're going to keep like being stuck in that frame and that mindset and that experience. And so I feel like a lot of people, one of the things you have to really get outside of yourself, outside of your environment, to be able to make better decisions for yourself or even know what that looks like. And it's important. And that's one of the reasons why I travel, because I feel like I'm getting exposed to different things, different experiences, different people, different cultures.
Yeah.
And I'm able to take all of those experiences and really make the best decisions for myself. And it helps me to be more confident in like where I'm going, the decisions that I make, just because I've seen different stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have just one experience. I don't have just, one exposure. I don't have just like how I grew up. Now I have a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Corporate jobs kill creativity and ambition.
If you let it.
Okay.
That's what I would say to that. If you let it. And a lot of people do, because it's kind of like, what's that saying about you can get real comfortable in your situation, in your environment. Yes, this job is paying me well, but I want to do something else. But because this job is paying me well and I'm comfortable, maybe I'm not going to pursue this other thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I have a limitation, or maybe I don't see other people. I know for me in my situation, I don't really see a lot of other people doing what I'm doing. Well, now I do because of my experiences, but before I didn't. Like I've only seen people, okay, you go to school, you get a job, you work that job, you retire and you live your life. Nobody said, oh, you go to school, you can get a job and start a business and write a book and do this and do that. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
why not?
I haven't seen people do that. Like, I'm kind of paving my own way in terms of my experience, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with not having the validation sometimes. I'm okay with people, not really knowing my whole story or knowing who I am, or knowing what I want to do. They're just seeing bits and pieces. I really wanted to ask you about, like, because as a therapist, I feel like maybe, I don't know, where's my question? Why do people ignore obvious red flags? I feel like I struggle with that and have when it comes to red flags. And so I'm just like so curious from a male's perspective. Like, why do you think people ignore or just like overlook certain things?
I think it's the promise of just in our mind what we idealize people as. We want this person to fit into this fantasy of who they are, of who we want them to be. So, we have this idea of the perfect woman, or you have the idea of a perfect man. And even though you see this person's doing everything opposite of your idea, you're just hoping, well, they're with me and they'll become this idea that's in my head. But the reality is that the receipts don't say that.
Love it. Right.
That's it. Yeah. So, I think we get stuck on this idea and we want that idea to be manifest, but we got to look at the receipts.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Yeah. Once you follow the evidence, you look for the receipts, it's clear. Like, the pattern's there. You just have to really wake up and pay attention to it.
Yeah.
It's hard, though. It is hard.
Yes.
Because even though you have the receipts, sometimes you still, you still, like, go for those red flags and look for them. And kind of like, some people like even, they feel like that's something that's gonna, it's like a, I don't know, innate thing. I don't know.
To want to stay with someone who has red flags?
Yeah, or to want to, like, overlook them. Not really stay with, but just kind of, like, ignore them. And I think that goes to back to calling stuff out and really focusing on the truth. And you have to kind of practice that. I know for me, I had to, like, really, really practice that. Okay, wake up, get out of la la land and focus on the receipts.
Yes.
Because it's there, but you just gotta, you can't ignore it.
And when it comes to attraction, that's the hardest place to find or to really follow the receipts, because we get so stuck on the idea of what we want and we're just hoping that this person is going to fulfill that. But again, you definitely have to follow the receipts. And one of the things we have to realize too is that people aren't perfect. So they're not always going to do things like a Disney movie like this. The prince comes in, he's like perfect, or the princess, whatever. You got to weigh out, well, how much does this person fit into, what I imagine? And then also listening to outside. This comes back to opinions.
Yes.
You got to be careful about listening to people on the outside, because sometimes they have an idea of who they want you to be with, or who they don't want you to be with. Or maybe they're jealous of your relationship. They're like, oh, she got the perfect man. He got this and that going on. I wish I had him. He's a dirty something. What I mean? Now they're trying to get you to break up with your man. You know what I mean? So you got to recognize the opinions in that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And be able to tune them out, or filter them out, and that really goes back to, like, really knowing who you are and what you want for your life. Like, once you figure out the lifestyle that you want and kind of, like, have a picture in your head, like the future that you want, I feel like everything else that does not align with that, it's noise. And so you kind of have to, like, decide, like, okay, does this align with where I'm trying to go, who I'm trying to be, what I see my future as?
Yeah.
And if it don't, then it's like you have your answer.
Mm.
And so that's the receipt right there.
When you talk about receipts over opinions, what do you think about this whole controversy with Cheyenne Bryant, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Allegedly, we don't really know what's going on with her. And she's had a lot of opinions, talked about a lot of things on various podcasts. What do you think about that whole situation as far as taking what she said to heart and actually following certain advice from someone that we're not even sure is a doctor?
I feel like a lot of people are in an uproar about this, right? And I feel like rightfully so, because if you present yourself as being this expert in this space, right, you should be able to bring out your receipts. Yeah. Like, where are the receipts? Like, people are asking for it. It's nothing to just go and get your diploma. It's nothing to search online for your dissertation. Yeah. Like, I can search my name right now and pull up my thesis. I can go pull up my degree right now. And I feel like when it comes to spaces on where people are vulnerable and people are like pouring themselves out, they really want somebody they can trust. And it's giving a lot of like not trustworthiness, like not credibility. Like credibility goes a long way when it comes to your environment and when it comes to your career. Yeah. You really want people to trust in you. And that's part of it. The way they trust in you is because you are being authentic. You are showing up as who you are. And then you have the receipts to back up what you're saying, you know. I mean, I think I've seen her work and I follow her. I think she's an incredible woman. I do also feel like that you should be able to give the people what they're asking for. Like, show them the receipts, you know? And I mean, that's just my opinion.
I agree. I think that she would have done good if she didn't even have to say she was a doctor, because a lot of the stuff she said, she doesn't necessarily have to say she's a doctor. She can just could have said she's a life coach. Yeah. And I mean, I haven't seen a lot of things that she said that I disagree with as far as like things, her viewpoints on different relational situations and stuff like that. From the videos I've seen with her, she seemed like she was saying some really sensible stuff, credible things. But when you're talking about I'm a doctor, again, it gets back to where are those receipts? And
I think that's the piece, right? Because I do agree. I think she does say credible things. And I think a lot that she says makes a lot of sense. And she's helping a lot of people. Like, you know, because people need to live in that healthy mindset and that healthy state. And she gives people advice on how to do that. And I think that's great. Anytime you can do that, like, I'm all for it. But like you said, it goes back to the doctor part of it. And it's like, why not just say you're a life coach? Yeah. You know, like,
why did you have to do that? Yeah. And then this made me question her. And I hate to say this because I really am not rooting against her. I hope that it's squared away. That I hope she really is a doctor and that it's squared away. And
I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for everybody
coming
black.
Out to fight. You know what I mean?
Everybody black.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I hope that everything is right with her. But then it made me question, because then I saw him like, she was in a B2K video back in the day. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she was in a B2K video. And I'm like, well, if she gets someone who's just been chasing fame.
How can someone separate hope from reality?
Separating hope from reality. There's a lot in that question. Yeah. I think it's good to be hopeful because we can be motivated. It's like it's a scripture that I like to refer to, but faith is the evidence of things unseen. You know what I'm talking about? The hope. Yeah. I done messed up the scripture, so hold on, don't hold me to it. but you know, sometimes you don't see things, but you hope for it, and it becomes manifested in your life. But sometimes when we're hoping for things, like, especially if you're hoping for something that is not within yourself, like you're hoping for this person to become a certain way, you can't really change another person. That's outside of your control. And if you've done this over for like 10 years or whatever, and this person is still doing the same thing, it's time to focus on the reality of who this person is. And then accept the reality for what it is, or move on into something else. Yeah.
Accept it.
Accepting
it. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Because like you could hope for something all day and maybe you pursued it for a while, but Like if it hasn't worked out or if you see no progress, I think that's the key too.
Yeah.
Like you have to see progression.
Progression, definitely.
Yeah. If there's no progression, then it's like, when are you going to accept it?
Yeah.
And move on to something different? Because maybe you're blocking your blessing. From your experience, just because I know you're a therapist, I'm sorry. What happens psychologically when someone consistently ignores what they know to be true?
I think you beat up your own self-esteem. Yeah, you start to value yourself less a lot of times because you're ignoring something. First of all, you know it to be true. So there's something in you that you need to be confident in your own mindset. For you see something, you know it's not true, but you're not confident in it. And now you're living in something that's untrue. It does something to your self-esteem. I definitely think so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, I've seen this happen a lot of times. Just like, okay, I know this can be true, but it's like it's still not clicking. And it's like, it lowers your confidence, lowers your self-esteem. It kind of puts you back. It kind of puts you back in a place where maybe you've grown from, maybe you evolved from. But it's like every time you ignore it or you don't face reality, it's like I'm back in that place, you know? And so I think that is very well spoken, very well put.
What are you working on right now with healthy living culture and, your book now that you have out? What are you most excited about with these things that you're doing now?
I am most excited about healthy living culture and building a community. One of the things I want to do is get a bunch of people together and focus on healthy fitness and healthy eating. I really want to make it like a luxury experience and not just like a workout session, not just like a healthy eating session, but actually like a place where you can come and really be yourself and really be vulnerable, but also knowing that you're working towards your fitness goals, you're working towards your healthy eating goals. And so for me, healthy living culture, I'm trying to expand it into more of a community that is going to be centered around helping people live their best life. We're building a healthy living culture is exactly what I named it for.
Yeah.
And then for my book, Receipts Over Pens, I'm excited about that because I really want to just get this message out. Like we talked about receipts over pens a lot in this podcast. And I think it's important for people to really focus on the receipts when it comes to their life, whatever they're building, whatever they want to do. Like if you focus on the facts and you follow the patterns, then it's like everything else kind of aligns, I feel like for me, that's one of the things I learned. And that's the reason why I wanted to write this book. I'm sharing my experiences with other people and I'm letting them know, this is the blueprint. This is the framework. This is exactly how I was able to do it because I was able to focus on the facts and follow those receipts. I'm hoping this book reaches a lot more people and hoping people sign up and join my community, Healthy Living Culture. You can go find me on Instagram or TikTok or at my website, www.tiasiasaunders.com, and let me know what you want to do. I'm excited about this and I look forward to working with people.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Make sure to like and subscribe.